No, you know what? Because when I channel most of my messages up until 2015, until Aristotle came to me in April 2015, were just straight telepathic, just a straight telepathic delivery, where it wasn't a trance channel. The being didn't use didn't express itself through my voice, didn't use my hands. It just came in telepathically. And to be honest with you, it's very nice when it comes in that way, because it's not taxing on the channeler. It's very easy, breezy, I like that, I didn't realize how much I liked it till I began to trance channel, and that was a whole nother ball game. So I've been doing just straight telepathic channel up until 2015, and so it wasn't taxing on me at all. And I would just channel, I would just channel up until I couldn't hear the transmission, or the being gave me their goodbye, their departure, And the thing is, let me just say this. What I've learned is that the beings come to me, and I don't go to the beings. They somehow select me, and they're chosen to different ones step forward at different times. So I have what is considered a gatekeeper, some kind of etheric guide who's in charge of the queue. And he's like, okay, Aristotle, you take Tuesday, Gandhi, you take Thursday, whatever. Because that's what happens. And I can sense, oh my God, there's a lot of beings that really want to come forth and express themselves. But they're queued up, And so, and that's why a lot of times I don't pick the beings, because I think and I feel the universe knows better than I do. I am a human being with probably narrow-minded vision, ego consciousness. How do I know what's best for the entire world, for the entire collective? Let the universe choose for me, and I'll just be the conduit, right? I think they're a lot more expert at that than I am, with my limited perceptions down here on the earth, right? So I've always delegated to them, and I say, you determine, come to me, and I will do it. And some people think that I can connect to any being, but I can't. I can't. I had one guy, one Facebook member, was like, can you connect to it was an Indian being. Ashwan, Ranini, I don't even know what it was. I'm like, oh my God, I don't even know who this being is, He's like, because you can do it if you try. He's trying to get me to get a channeled message from this Indian being. I'm like, oh, bro, I don't, because I realize it's more taxing when I have to try. It's easier when they just come to me. It's like the channel's already open, they're ready to disseminate. So that's the way it works. I let go and I release. I don't get upset or angry if I can't connect to a certain being, because I'm like, it's not in the universal divine guidance. So I just relax, and sometimes I'm critical of my channelings because I want them to be high vibrational. They are high vibrational, but I want them to be of a certain quality, and they have been of a certain quality. Like using, I don't want to channel, and I know this might sound condescending, like a third grade, like I want to channel someone, with some knowledge to share in a certain format that's educated and whatever. So that has been my background to channeling, and at this point I'll take some questions if anyone else has any questions. Yeah.
What do you mean by channel? My English is not.
Okay. Well, I would say channeling is the ability to receive information from beings, from consciousnesses, from entities. You could use different words for these entities that don't exist on the. Well, actually, I can probably, if I wanted to, maybe some of you channel your higher selves, which is part of you, and you're all existing in this dimensional plane. But it's about receiving information from beings, or even that part of yourself that exists on another dimensional reality. I'll put it that way. That's how I would consider it, because these beings don't exist on the physical. We cannot see, touch, feel that.
When we were kids, there was a guy, I forgot his name, and he let my other brother to sleep. He's awake, and he told him, I can let sleep anyone I want here. So he brought something, and he said, look here, and my brother got asleep. And I went to the man and I said to him, wake him up, wake him up. I was angry to see what kind of channel is that?
Oh boy, I don't do that. I'm not gonna put you all to sleep. Yeah, I don't. It sounds almost like hypnotist, or like a hypnotist. They're able to put a subject into an altered state of consciousness, into a deep altered state of consciousness. That probably is a type of energy skill, a type of energy work.
You could do it with suggestions.
Yeah, and then
That
the
people respond
hypnotist,
to.
yeah. But that definitely is working on energetic levels. That man was obviously very adept at using energy in a certain way. So that's a different. You could say maybe he channeled energy. He could channeled energy to help the subject get into a different state of consciousness. So you could say that man channeled energy. I channel words and messages, and I do channel energy too at times because I'm a Reiki master, and during healing sessions I channel energy as well. But what you.
Is it true? I was afraid my
Well,
brother
if your
got
brother
asleep.
experienced it, he would be the witness. Did you talk to your brother after? And
We were kids.
Uh,
In the sitting room, and he said, I can let one of you sleep, and he slept.
wow.
You
Well,
know.
yeah. It sounds like your brother was very open.
Let Katie finish.
No, but that's okay. That's good. It's still about It's still that's all right. That's Thank you for that. But thank you. Yeah.
I read I downloaded your book.
Oh,
and I read
thank
the
you.
whole thing.
Okay.
I wanted to know, are you gonna channel Aristotle here? Can you do some channeling?
Oh, I didn't. I'm not going to channel him here today live. I'm still working on that process. If you go on YouTube, I have one channel video live of Aristotle. He came to me when I was working on my computer. I stayed in Seattle for part of the month. And as soon as I felt him coming through me, it was a trance channel. I grabbed my iPhone, I put it on video, and I trance channeled him. And it was actually pretty coherent. And then I shared it on YouTube. That was a live trance channel that I did spontaneously. And to be honest with you, I wasn't feeling well, because let me explain how Aristotle came to me.
Is it in English or Greek?
No, it came in English. Yeah, I mean, I would love, and I've let the universe know, if you could work with me in a certain way where I get real technical information or different languages, and I'm coherent and it's accurate, please do so. I would love to be a channel in that way to help, if it's helpful to the, the earth. I would love to channel in that way. And I already let them know, but I don't. But once in a while, I receive information. I think it's in Sanskrit. It's like really short syllables, and I just start spontaneously singing these Sanskrit songs. And I don't really know what they mean, but I really don't know if they make any sense. But I sing them, to myself in the car as I get them. But it's a different language.
We can figure it out for you if you could.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
I actually sometimes I record on my phone. I'm like, one of these days I'm going to ask this person that knows Sanskrit.
Speaker teaching here.
Oh my gosh, interesting. I feel it's Sanskrit. I don't know what language it is. So I was going to talk about Aristotle, and so I'm not going to channel him live, because what happened was, in April, what happened was I had a dream in 2013 or so, and in this dream I walked into a room, this beautiful book came down from the ceiling, and this is the way they highlight things for you in the dreams. They show it highlighted or really shimmery or as a special glow, and this book was very special, had a special glow, and it was purple, and it was just glowing. And I looked at the book, and on the cover of the book said trance. And that's when I had a little inkling that I might be doing trance channel, and I had a heads up. And so that was in 2013. And then I would start to have dreams, and during my dreams, during my sleep state at night, I actually felt like the beings start to manipulate my physical appendages. They were moving my fingers, moving my arms, shoulder. It's like they were getting familiar with me in my dream state. They were learning to work with my physical, energetic body. So that was like the warm-up for like 2 years. I'm like, it feels like I'm being manipulated at nighttime. Just once in a while. It wasn't the whole night. And I said, I think they're practicing on me. They're practicing. And then I would have dreams where I'd actually feel like a puppet, and I would actually be like, they would take my, so that was the warm-up. This is how they prepared me. But the final, the climax happened in April 2015, and I was in Seattle, laying in the bed with my husband, 1:45 a.m. All of a sudden, I start feeling all these funky things. And prior to that, I had been sick for 1 month, and I'm usually not that, I usually don't have that. I have pretty healthy disposition. For 1 month, I had such a serious sore throat. I had major sinus congestion. So I have a feeling they were doing energetic work, and it was affecting me physically. So for 1 month, I was not feeling my best at all. I could not believe nothing had ever lasted this long before. And then as it was ebbing away in April, this is what happened. It was 1:45 a.m. in the morning, laying in bed, and all of a sudden I feel like I want to vomit. And then I start, excuse me for saying this, I start releasing gas. Because my stomach needs to be expelled. I feel like I want to vomit. And now I'm starting to break out a little bit of a sweat. And all of a sudden I'm getting dizzy too. I'm getting really dizzy in the bed. And I'm laying flat. I'm experiencing all these physical symptoms. I'm feeling these tingles on my crown chakra, all around my top of my head, these energetic sensations. I'm like, oh my God, what the heck is happening to me? I had no idea what was going on. And then I felt like my ears, things in my ear, pressure in my ear changing. I actually, after that experience, I made a blog document and I listed the exact symptoms so people can learn what to, through my experience. And next thing you know, I did this thing. My husband's laying next to me, and I go, I am Aristotle! It's 1:45 a.m. in the morning. My husband's like, what? Jumps off the bed. And that's how Aristotle came to me. He came to me through trance, and then he came to me, used my vocal cords, and I felt all this energy welling. It's almost like you feel a ball of energy here. It starts to rise, because they're using your trachea and all this stuff. And then also, I was getting major heart palpitations. My heart it was almost like I had a shot of adrenaline or something. I'm like, oh my God, I'm so excited, I'm like, I didn't know what I was doing. I was dizzy, excited, feel like I was gonna vomit, then I was getting, and then I had my eyes closed, and so I do this a lot, which is also another good exercise. I would recommend to open up your insight and open up your third eye. I looked through my third eye, the middle of the space in the middle of your eyebrows, with your eyes closed. Just start looking at that blackboard, at that vision screen. So I always look through my third eye with my eyes closed, and so that's what I'm doing. And I'm noticing this light phenomena. It's changing very fast. Random pictures of people, all this. Oh my God! It was like, fast forward on a film. All this, I was so overstimulated with my third eye. I was like, oh my God! So you can say I was in distress. I was in a form of distress. And then Aristotle came through. And when he spoke, it was very laborious, and I was sweating profusely. And he would say a few words, and and then he would slow down, and then he would stop and pause. I had to take a break or something. I had to take a deep breath. It was very hard. It was very hard on me. So he's the first being that came to me and spontaneously trans-channeled through me. And then his second message on April 20th, which I share in the book, he gave me his directive. He gave me he signed me a task. Or he said, well, how would you say? Gave me work to do. He said to me, I would like you to write a book with me. I want to share certain things. I shall come to you at regular times. You shall sit down and you shall repeat my words, and you shall write a book. So I'm like, oh gosh, Aristotle told me to write a book. And when it came in like that, I'm like, oh shit, I gotta believe this. This is not crazy. This is not my fantasy. This is real stuff. This guy, now, I have great respect because, the being came all the way across all those dimensions. He had to, who knows how many wormholes or whatever he went through, and into portal corridors, and then he had to he had to do the thing and get to know my physical body, and he had to come through him. So I'm like, oh my God, he made a lot of effort to deliver his edict to me. And so I received a directive from him, and I said, oh boy, I better write this book, And then my husband was like, yeah, it might be hit by lightning or something, It's like, I'm walking across, we're not going to hold hands anymore. We walk together. I'm going to walk across the street until you write the book.
He's not taking
Yeah.
any chance.
I would assume that there had to have been some exchange of permissions to do that, that he couldn't just come to you unbidden, but were you consciously aware?
No.
of any
This is my big learning for 2015. I'm like, there is this level of yourself called your higher self, and it does things you have no clue of. And it decides things for you. And on a human consciousness level, on an egoic level, you're like, what the heck? My higher self is deciding, you're like, so my higher self, and then, you know what, the term I hear is spirit. Because when I spiritually awakened in 2009, and I began to look at the world differently and people's lives, I began to see people's evolving souls, and I developed so much more compassion for people and Mother Earth. I'm a big, I like to honor Mother Earth. And so during that time, I've been hearing, and since then I've been hearing many times, your spirit has risen. So I believe the spirit, I've been asking the guys, is the spirit the same as higher self? Because I believe my spirit is making all these decisions, all these choices for me. And so the thing is, the veil is there. The veil, the mechanism of the veil that keeps us hooded, that keeps us from remembering our past lives, our concurrent lives. And so the veil is very strong for many people, and it was strong for me. But after my spiritual awakening, I heard, your veil is lifting, your veil is lifting. And so that's why I've been having access to some of my concurrent lives during my out-of-body states and whatnot. But my spirit is because I heard telepathically, my spirit is a navigator that determines where I go in my sleep state when I have these interdimensional travels. So I believe it's my spirit that has decided all these things I should do in this lifetime, my pre-incarnation contract. And then I kept hearing telepathically, you made a contract, you made a vow. So they're telling me, this is your work, right? This is what your job is. I've heard that quite a few times. When you hear that, and believe me, I don't really want to hear that. I don't want to hear that because I think I'd like to do some other things, I'm like, so it's not, how can it be my imagination when on a conscious level, I don't even want to, I'm like thinking I would have picked, oh gosh, that's what I decided I was going to do. And so this is how it was revealed to me telepathically, directly, that I made a contract, I made a vow, and they tell me, you fought for this. You fought for this. I'm like, oh boy, they had to make special arrangements or something because they didn't really want, I have a feeling I wasn't really supposed to come down here, but I was like, no, I'm going to go down there and I'm going to do my light work. And I was all gung-ho or something, like, okay, Katie, you can go down there. And then you get down here and the veil comes down, you're like, what, I'm confused, or I don't know what's going on. And so on some level, permission, higher self levels, permissions were granted. And I asked them telepathically, show me when I made this promise. I said, give me some clairvoyant visions, give me some images. Show me when I made, what I haven't been shown. And yeah.
To confirm, when you had this contact with Aristotle, were you aware of his teachings, his philosophy?
No, that's the thing.
And did you then proceed to learn more about him,
No.
just to make sure he was authentic?
Well, you know what I did? That's the thing. I was not an Aristotle groupie. I was never a big Aristotle fan. So this is another thing that makes me say, wow, makes me think it's authentic. I'm like, oh. But he channeled to me. I shared in the book that we had some lives together, past lives together. And I have a math major. I'm a BA in mathematics, and so Aristotle did mathematics. And they say he incarnated in different prolific figures in history, and but I asked to be shown our past lives together, but it wasn't shown to me. And one time I heard it's classified, or sometimes they don't reveal everything to me. Yeah, so you just
no basis.
Yeah, I have totally released that.
Universal humor, right?
Yeah, exactly. So you need to know basis. It's classified. You're not going to get this yet. And so when I received this message from Aristotle, I didn't even research him. And you know what? It came to me almost clear knowingness or sensing. Aristotle is not the same man he was as we know him. He's had many lifetimes. He's an evolving being. He's not going to come and share to me what he did back in his days. There's been volumes of books written on that. He came to me to share new information about the New Age. So I'm not here to rehash all his historical accomplishments. That's not my job. There's been many fine writers that have done that, including himself. He has his own publications. So that's how I differentiate. And you know, this is another thing, like people think, oh, you and Aristotle are friends. He comes to you, you know, he talks to you, you know, he comes down, sits down next to you like holographically, you know. It's not like that. It was a pure, you could say, business association. He came to me, I would sit down, I sat down for a period from April to June, and I received 22 messages, and most of them were from him. And 2 were from Pliny the Elder, 1 was from the Altoonans, and 1 was like an extraterrestrial named Asgard. But I put that in the book because it's all related to his theme. And he would come to me, it was just like a job. Come, you know, do your job. He'd come to me, deliver his message, and then he would depart. I wouldn't like BS with him. I wouldn't, you know, I didn't say, oh, you know, it was a total partnership. And that's the way it is with these beings. Sometimes I telepathically try to ask some questions behind the scenes as they're giving me information. But the way he came to me, he just had his stuff to deliver. It was a missive. And he just wanted to get it to me. And then it's okay, goodbye. You know, that's it. So it wasn't that kind of relationship.Maybe another channeler that has maybe more of a sense of humor, is more lighthearted, would have had a different experience with Aristotle. But maybe because I'm just more, I don't know what you call it, I'm more whatever I am.
Mathematical.
Yeah, I'm more analytical. I have my BA Math, Master's in Accounting, CPA, I had my concentration in actuarial science. So I'm more, and I like to do this thing where even at work is work, but you know, pleasure is pleasure. I try not to mix them too. It's just the way I've always operated. So it's the same type sort of arrangement with these beings as well, and so I didn't really research Aristotle at all, just enough to put a little bit of introduction for him for the book. And he didn't present himself as the Aristotle that he was, because, you know, he's not frozen in time. And so I accepted that. You know, I accepted that. I didn't even go there. I realized what my mission was. And so since then, I sat down and I received these messages. And one time, this is what the beings like to do sometimes, because you know, as we learn here, and we have managers and employees and presidents and whatever, all these levels. There's a hierarchy, and then we have interns. It's the same way over there. Like one time when I sat down and get a message from him, I got a clairvoyant image of another man. All of a sudden, I saw 2 men. I'm like, oh, and they're like in these robes. And then it was Pliny the Elder. And Pliny the Elder came forth that day. And I didn't even know who Pliny the Elder was. I had to be like, I heard he just called himself Pliny. So who's Pliny? So I got the message, and then I Google it afterwards. And then I'm like, oh no, there's a Pliny the Elder, and there's a Pliny the nephew. There's 2 Plinys. I don't know if you guys know Pliny, but he was a really famous Roman statesman. And he died in the eruption of Mount Vesuvius, trying to save one of his friends or something. He was a military commander. He was a prolific writer. He wrote 37 volumes of the world natural history, and that set the precedent for encyclopedias. That's how encyclopedias got to be, was from his 37 volume, comprehensive volume. And so he came to me, delivered 2 messages. So I just go with who comes to me and hope, and most of the time they identify themselves.
What was the most significant, let's say? Do you have anything outstanding?
Oh yeah,
that you could
and
share
so
with us?
what I'm going to share now is that the whole reason why Aristotle came to me is that he wanted to let people know about the new age that we are in. Okay, and I don't know if you guys can see this, but this is the cover for my ebook. I know it's an ebook, so it doesn't really, but this is the cover for my ebook. Pretty, yeah. And so he came to me and he said, I'll tell you exactly what he said. Another thing, for these channelings, they're very much in their pure form. I didn't do a lot of editing, just minor editing, like for like maybe moved a sentence from here to there, because I really wanted to honor the channelings as I receive them. I didn't want to massage them, put my own filters on there. And when I share the messages, I don't explain to you what the messages mean. You could understand it yourself. We're all pretty educated here. So I want you to have your own experience with the messages, you know, and do your own interpretation. And believe me, what he channeled was not rocket science, okay? His teachings are very beautiful, inspirational, but I know, especially this group here, I know you've all heard them before. But now it's presented through his words and through me. So you know how the universe works. They're trying to awaken many, many people, and they have to use all these different delivery formats. So this is one. I am one light worker who is working in that, you know, helping to facilitate that. But you know, his teachings are very, very much like Eckhart Tolle, Deepak Chopra, the New Age. So it's nothing extraordinary new, but it's always beautiful, and it's always nice to read and written in a little different format, right? And maybe a bell will go off and you'll get a big epiphany or something out of it. And so one of his let me just use one of his quotes that I used as my acknowledgement to start off the book. And I know many people are always like, what am I here on the earth to do? What's my life purpose? That's a big question that many people have. And this is what Aristotle has said, and this came in May 2015. He said, you have a purpose to become naturally the divine being that you are. You shall touch and walk in the truth of how you have been created. So that's what Aristotle says our purpose is, to become the naturally divine being that we are. And I thought that was very beautiful. Mm-hmm. And a reminder to ourselves of our true makeup. And so I'm going to go ahead and just quote him because I don't want to paraphrase. This is what he said he really wanted for the purpose of this book. Why he came all the way across the ethers to share his words to me. These are his words. All human beings should realize the climactic changes taking place currently on the planet Earth as of this time. Many new changes to help many. Understand it is part of all of your awakenings, a new time, a new era, a new dawning in human history. It has all been planned for, this acceleration at fast speeds to take place. This is a good thing and a necessary requirement for advancement to the new age. Each and every one of you is important, for each person's development allows others to follow. It is a ripple effect of high design. Trust in us, the fine beings who are helping to usher in this new age of equanimity. 'Tis a grand time of opportunity and aligning with your life purposes, which each of you has been designed for individually. So he's really helping to usher in this new age that we're in. We're in the age of Aquarius now, the astrological age of Aquarius. Prior to that, we're in the age of Pisces, and we're supposed to be in the age of Aquarius for about 2,000 years. And so this is another excerpt from his channeling from April 2015. I am here. I have come on your request and specific invitation. I hope to provide high-level knowledge to those who are ready to hear my words. This is a new time, a time of change, a time of revolution. In order to succeed in this age, one must develop higher perceptions of thought and ideas. No longer will a weak value system service you. It is time now for a stronger code of ethics for yourself and how you treat others. Remember, it is all in the quality of your vibration. This determines all. Your vibration is based on frequency. Your thoughts affect your vibration. Know this and apply this. Really reminding us, letting us know, if you don't know, that this is a new time, a new age, a time of many changes for human beings, and such the importance of our vibration, the quality of our thoughts. And he has some practical exercises in some of his channeled messages. I've tried to share a few of them. And he believes in the power of prayer. And he expounds that, which I do as well. And he says, the power of prayer is important. This is your special communication to the divine. It is a powerful pipeline and conduit of your desires. Prayer shows a willingness for help and support for those who seek it. So that's simple exercise of prayer. Again, he reiterates the importance of prayer. But sometimes we forget to go into prayer when we feel like we're emotionally struggling and we need help. So simple, and this is a resource available to us, and he calls it a powerful pipeline.